I've been searching for my mind tonight. Think I left it on the road. Drive around so days with no direction to go. Running faster than a hurricane in the morning light. I pursue one perception and you will fade into the light. This is where I think it goes. I feel it burn. This is where I know it all. Okie dokie, good afternoon everybody. How was TEDx? You good? That's good. That wasn't really an answer, that was just a massive noise. How was everyone? Ah! Great. All right, my name's Morf. I'm going to tell you guys on the theme of Curious Minds. Sorry, I'm just going to tune very quickly. We'll cut this bit out. All right. The theme of Curious Minds, I'm going to talk about this. And kind of like, what do you love doing? As a kid, I always had one dream. And that dream was to be a rock star. Why not? I had this cassette tape. The young people in the audience won't know what that is, but it's a thing that played music that wasn't an iPhone. And it had a mixtape with 12 songs on it. And I rinsed that mixtape. I played it every day, in the morning and the evening, all the time. And as I played this music, I kind of listened to it and I pictured myself playing that music on the stage, like all over the planet. Like, you know, it was all I wanted to do. I'd daydream in class and get slapped around the face by the teacher, like that. And it was all I wanted to do. But my journey into music and doing this wouldn't start for a very long time after being a kid back then. Like many people, I was taught the value and the importance of security and a long-term stability. The kind of idea to do something that you might not really want to do, but for the benefit of in the future being able to have, that security and that cushion to buy, like, the fancy car or the 5-bedroom house or the wife. And anywho, so I went to university after, graduating uni. I got a job with a huge company I had no purpose being in. It was a big IT company. And this company would go on to pay me more money than I deserved doing something that I didn't really like doing. And it would relocate me over to Sydney in Australia. When I got to Sydney with that job, I went and got a nice flat, like 2 minutes from the Opera House. I filled it with really expensive stuff, a big TV and one of those vacuum cleaners that kind of drives around and makes me hide in the bathroom all evening because I'm terrified of artificial intelligence, man. And all my friends and my colleagues and my family, they'd all tell me that they were proud of me. I'd done it. Like, this was success. Congratulations. And my mum is here today. No. The problem was, it didn't feel like success. I look back at the 7-year-old me. And this 7-year-old me, unfortunately, like many people, when I say unfortunately lightly, it's not really unfortunately when you move on into the future. I was diagnosed as autistic and depressed. 7 years old, party starter. I couldn't really fit in. The 7-year-old didn't fit in around him. The people in the school, would get bullied. And the one thing that he did every day that gave him a purpose to be here was to hide away in the music room and play the guitar to his very unenthusiastic music teacher. And I looked at where I was, and I was being told by everyone I'd ever met that, you've done it, you're such a young guy and you're in this position. Like, wow, how do you feel? And I was like, not great. I thought the 7-year-old version of me would look at me now and go like, I hung on for this? What are you doing, man? And I thought about that for a while, but I couldn't bring myself to act on it. Until one day I walked through the shopping mall, and there was a guy playing music in the middle of the mall, a busker. And I watched this busker play a whole hour-long show, and as I watched him, I looked at his face. And there was something I realized that this guy that was just playing the music on the street had that I didn't have, and that was he was smiling. And I realized really quickly that I hadn't for quite a while. And I thought, that's not how I want to live. So the next week, I quit my job. I walked in and I told my boss, hey, I'm out of here. I wish it was as theatrical that it was like, excuse me, I just want to talk to you for a second. It's possibly something. And now, when they asked me what I was doing, I said, I'm going to become a street performer. That reaction is exactly the same one I got that day. It was a combination of laughter and a couple of faces, especially my boss in the audience, of pure concern. What are you doing, man? You're a crazy guy. We knew you were crazy, but not this crazy. Now, unfortunately, I realized that look was based around fear. Fear and around the idea of doing something like that. We're not supposed to quit an amazing job where everyone's like, yeah, and you've got a nice suit. You're not supposed to quit that to become a street performer or do something that you love doing. That is specifically reserved for the films and the Disney movies. And as much as I wish that my boss busted into a beautiful kind of harmony with all the office workers, like in a Disney film, and the janitor did a triple backflip and landed in the full splits. Instead, that didn't happen. I was laughed out of the office quite literally. Now, I realized that day something hit me, and that was the thing about the fear that fueled both my hesitance to leave the job and also their reaction to me doing so. And that was that fear kind of is the best parts of life. Hear me out. Anyone that's done something phenomenal in their life has experienced some crazy amount of fear beforehand. For example, if you jump out of a plane, before you jump out that plane, you're terrified. If you bungee jump, the same. Those of you that have got married before you go and you say, I do, I'm just saying this, I'm assuming, based on the people that I know that have. Don't tell my wife, all right. But what happens is that fear leads to some of the best things you will ever experience in your life. And you took a jump. You were faced with a fear, and you jumped. And when you took that leap, it led to pure bliss. And you did that without knowing what would happen. You jumped out of that plane, just basically relying on the fact that that parachute would open and you wouldn't die. You jumped off of the bungee jump, that cord won't snap and you won't die. You got married, that you won't die. Hopefully your wife or your husband's nice, But you did all that anyway. And if you could live your whole life in one massive leap, living all those little moments, regardless of what it is, have you not lived the best life you could possibly live? At some point, everyone, including myself, sits there and they go, is this it? It's the unavoidable question of being a human. And the sad answer is, unless we take those jumps, unless we face that fear and we do go, then it is. But if we take the jumps, it leads to something really nice. So I don't know much about life. I don't know why any of us are here. And there's people that have spoken today that are far more qualified to talk about the mind than I am. However, I do know, one day, hopefully, I'm going to be a very old man. And when I look back at everything, I'm not going to miss the money, the car, the 5-bedroom house or whatever. The one thing that I'm going to really miss, or more, the one thing that I'm going to kind of carry with me as I go, is the ability to go back in my head and speak to the 7-year-old me. And I'll tap him on the shoulder and I'll say, take your earphones out. Cassette players are outdated. We've got the iPhone 56 now. Get rid of those things. Pop them out. And I'll tap him and I'll say, look, one day you're going to be a rock star. One day you're going to make some crazy decision. And I know right now everything feels weird. I know you feel like you're on your own and you want to do something and the world's telling you want to do something different. And you're going to believe that for a while. But one day you're going to know what you want to do. And when you know, you're going to be faced with a jump. And I'm telling you to take that jump. Because if you do, you're going to save us both a lot of time. And you're going to enjoy the rest. And when you're my age, you'll thank yourself. And he's going to turn around to me and he's going to look at me and say, thank you. So everyone in this room and anyone watching in the cyber world, at some point think, and you're going to sit there and you're going to say, what do I love doing? Can I do it? And it's not whether, that you can do it, it's that you have to do it. So, I'm going to play one more tune. And this is an instrumental piece. I'm going to kind of relive that day that I quit. I sat in a field in Sydney in a suit and played this song. This one's called 7. Thank you very much. I'm very fortunate that I took that leap and it worked out. I hope you all do the same, and I hope at some point to see you all on this stage making terrible jokes and talking about things you love.